Hey, I have additional thoughts on Abrego Garcia and Bukele's visit to the White House. Let me tell you something. When people use the whole analogies of he's not playing chess, he's playing checkers. Bukele came in that bitch with a Scandinavian Open, okay? When I tell you Bukele knows how to speak Donald Trump's language so bad. And Donald Trump, again, I've said this, he's not a very, complex man, in my opinion. He's not a very multi-layered individual. He's exactly what he is. Bukele, mama, plays that bitch like a fiddle. It's actually, kind of incredible to watch. I have notes. So, hang on. So, a reporter asks in the room. She asked Donald. I think it was Kate the Great from CNN. Kate the Great from CNN. I see you, soldier. God bless. You said you would abide by Supreme Court ruling. R.E. Abrego Garcia. And he said, Donald, how long do we have to answer this question from you? Why don't you just say, isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? Why can't you just say that? Then she starts talking. He immediately interrupts. Why do you go over and over that? That's why nobody watches you anymore. Because you're not credible. That's why nobody watches you anymore. Why do we have to go over and over? Okay, so what he was saying in that was, he's gone, bitch. We're not going to do anything to get him back. We don't care. This one person is totally a litmus test for everything that we're about to do. R.E. Disappearing people and shipping them to a whole other country with no due process for no fucking reason. Even when they are legally in the United States. Shit, it may even be a citizen one day. Because then he said on the hot mic, hang on, we'll get there. Because then Kate says, okay, well, can President Bukele weigh in on this? R.E. bringing him the fuck back. Bringing this innocent man back. Bukele says, because he observes the way Donald he says, okay. He says, okay, Donald, sorry. Hate crime? Sorry. Donald is a bitch. That's literally the only way I can describe it. He's super cunty to Catherine, the Grathryn. I'm going to follow suit. So when she said, Bukele, can you weigh in on this? He said, I suppose you're not suggesting that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States. Sorry, a what? Bitch. Even the dickhead sitting next to you admitted it was a administrative error. Copying. And then Donald's like, yo, you talking to CNN, am I right? Donald loved that shit. See, not a difficult man. Not a difficult man. Donald loved that shit. He was in there for real. It's actually when you really zoom out and forget about the fact that this is actually real life and this is really the world that's happening, it's a fascinating psychological observation, if you will. Then, fuck's his name? Bukele says, some say we imprisoned thousands, but I like to say we liberated millions. And Trump was like, fucking talk that talk. Literally, he was like, that's a good one. That was a great line. They were in there fucking doing patty cakes. I swear to God, it's a fascinating watch. And then to further my point about Trump not being a complex man, here's how we know this. Because there was a hot mic meaning nobody was supposed to be catching this here audio. They did. Of Donald saying to Bukele, he's like, and then I think next we're going to do the homegrown criminals. Meaning full-blown, born in the USA, from here. Birth citizen, mama. Not naturalized, not green card, not visa, fully. Next, we're going to do homegrown. And Bukele was like, okay, no problem. And Trump's like, homegrown. I says to him, homegrown. Homegrown. You couldn't even really hear him the first time on the fucking mic, but then Trump literally needs to be patted on the back so bad for doing a haha or owning the libs that he's like, and then I says to him, fucking idiot, bro. But yeah, make no mistake, this is entirely just a test to see what the citizenry will put up with and if we will let it go. That's because that's basically what he was telling the reporter when she was asking about him. He was basically like, girl, let that shit go. He's not coming back. So it's just a test to see how much can I get away with? Are y'all really about to try and even hold me accountable for something? I don't go. There's literally zero evidence that this man has anything to do with fucking MS-13, any gang, anything. None. No gang activity, no convictions for not a fucking thing. In El Salv or in the US of A. Similarly, in 2019, when they ruled that he can't be deported, it was because he would likely be a target for gangs. So, who knows why exactly? I'm not going to sit here and say that perhaps he had intel or something. Because if that was the case and he did indeed have intel or something, then that would perhaps lead one to think, oh, this was no accidental administrative nothing. It was him, and specifically him. It wasn't a matter of well, shit, accidentally deport somebody. It was no, accidentally deport that guy. And all the other alleged MS-13 folk and send them to El Salv. And Bukele yoved that shit. Whoopsie daisies, crying emojis when they... Ooh. Bukele, you working with them boys? You got a little fucking narco gobierno happening? They're fucking coming for me right now.